If you will, if you'll stand for a prayer for Greg Mitchell. Greg Mitchell is the pastor out at Center Hill Baptist Church. And bow your heads, please.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, Almighty God, Lord, we come to your throne of grace. Dear God, we just thank you for another day of life. Lord, we thank you for all the blessings bestowed upon us every day. Lord, as we come tonight, Father, let us remember on this occasion, 9/11. Let us remember those heroes and those people that lost their lives, Lord, in the brutalest attack that this country's ever seen. Father, let us remember them. Lord, let us lift their families up in prayer. Lord, let us, as Americans, come together. Lord, we thank you for this great land that you give us, Father. Father, I pray, God, it would be our prayer today that you would just be with these, Lord, on this court. Father God, just give them the wisdom they need to govern. And Lord, just touch them in a mighty way. Father, just guide us, Lord, in this great nation. Father, we pray, God, that you'll bless this court and bless the United States of America. We pray all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
And now my daughter Candace will lead us in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Greg.
I don't choke you up, y'all not It's been 11 years.
We'll have the clerk now call the roll, please.
Present.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here. Here.
Here. Okay, in your packets I sent you a summary of the last meeting for you to go over. Is there any changes that you feel needs to be made or not changes but clarifications? Okay, then I'll wait for a motion to accept the minutes. Kevin George made that motion.
Second.
Jimmy Mingle seconded. All in favor? Aye. Right now we have the committee reports. Yeah, let's go ahead with this. I sent you the committee reports that I got. This is the updated one that came from Diane over the internet to me. And so you have got those reports there. And there are some people that, let's see, Russell, you had called me about some discrepancies.
Not really discrepancies. We've got a couple of folks on the Joint Economic Development Board says they represent the industrial board, and they're no longer on the industrial board.
Right. It is not up to date.
Mr. Greg Rogers and Mr. Jackie Francis.
Right.
And I just felt that if we're going to have somebody representing the industrial board, it needs to be on the industrial board.
Right. We have, I think that's second to the last page.
Page 9.
Page 9, okay, third to last page. Oh, this is the Joint Economic and Development Board.
Yes.
Okay, because we had already changed on the IDB board. I think it was already changed to the present ones that y'all are going to look at tonight. We want to make sure that this is accurate so that when we call upon people, they are there to be able to respond to the needs of the county commission. Okay, Industrial Committee, the IDB board, actually is what it's called, is Randall Reed, Mindy Gunner, Dean Moore, Neil Applebaum, Doug Beaudry, Corey Davenport, and David Vance. David is is at Global Industries, if you don't know him.
Do we need to make a motion to remove those two first?
No, there's none here that we have to,
No, I mean on the joint
the
economic.
one that Russell was talking about is the joint between
Right.
the city and the county.
They're on the Joint Economic Development Board because it's saying they're on the Industrial Board. They're not
Ah,
on
I
the
see,
Industrial Board.
okay.
So they
Yes,
can't be on there.
We will. How would you do that, Bobby? I mean, we want to be able to take these off here at
We
the,
can do that on other business, we'll find out.
Well, it's part of you.
this part of the committee
part, yeah.
meeting, I mean, the committee members right here. But I mean, it's
I
due.
don't have a copy of it.
Oh, that's right, I didn't get you, I'm sorry. You can have my copy.
We floating in there.
Well, I made it up. I made it up for you and for Diane, and something happened. I had it in my hand when I was down here.
We should get a black.
We need to do that under number 7, Bob. Just need to do it under 7.
We need to take two people that are now on the industrial board and put in those slots. You see, those slots, all of those, no, excuse me, not all of them, but for instance, director of schools is on that board. Well, if Barbara wasn't director of schools, whoever was director, the slots are far,
Whoever holds that.
Two industrial
whoever
board
holds
members.
that office, like Middle Tennessee Natural Gas.
Okay, so we need to put, from the current IDB board, we need to put 2 on there.
That's right, but I would recommend that we leave Greg Rogers on there and just put him in there as, we got realtor, homeowner, is there a homeowner?
Yep.
interest?
well, you
Yes.
imagine.
Yeah, you know, we could put another homeowner interest person there, because Greg is a businessman that has been on this commission before. He's got a lot of contacts at other places that he calls on, and I think he would be, see, his term doesn't go out until 2/15 from the industrial board, but I would leave him on there. Now, Mr. Jackie Francis, he asked to be
Removed, yeah.
removed on the other one, so let's take 2 of the other ones, and then how many has this got on it now?
16.
Replace Jackie with 2 off the industrial board and leave Greg on there and just put his title as homeowner interest.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to the industrial board,
We do it under 7.
see who wants to be on, and
Yeah.
we'll reaffirm them
And we
next.
can do that to the next
month.
meeting if we want
Yeah.
to.
Reaffirm the next meeting. Yes, Roger, you had more? Was there anyone in here? It looks like we have cut down these committees to a workable quorum. Because before, there'd be so many people on a committee that if they didn't show up, you'd have to have an awful lot of people there to be able to have a quorum. So if you cut these down to 7 and 8, or let's say it has to be an odd number, then you can get more done as far as the quorums go. We'll keep this, Bobby, for right now. I'll get her a copy of it.
Randall's here, we can ask him if he'll serve on that other board and represent IDB.
We need to do that when we get to approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get to number 7, that's when we'll have to
When we
do
get
all
to
that.
number 7, we'll-
Randall, you be thinking about that.
like you had nothing else to do. Okay, at this time, we're going into the number 6. It will be the, you know what? That was my fault. We're looking at committee reports, not the committee.
Correct.
That's when it goes down to number 7. And so, you got that? Any committee reports?
Have you got any, does the IDB got anything?
He's at a moment's notice. I was going to leave that for the very last because it's going to be a little lengthy thing.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. At this time, the clerk, Bobby Smith, will take over the meeting, because he will be asking for nominations for the chairman of the board.
Elect the new commissioner, one you got. Anybody want to make a motion?
I nominate Bob.
I'll second.
Anybody Development,
I'd like to nominate Clint.
and Higgins, okay. Kevin George, he made the motion to do Bob.
And Russell was second.
Second.
Seconded. And Tony, he recommended on nomination. Clint, does anybody second that?
I will.
Mark? Okay, I'll call your name and you tell me which one you want to vote for. Is that okay? Mark Barker.
Clint?
Russell Reed.
Mr. Stetzel.
Okay. Todd Hollenberg.
Clint.
Jimmy Mangums.
Bob.
Jim Bush.
Bob.
Kevin George.
Stetzel.
Clint Higgins.
Stetzel.
Tony Neal.
Oh, I guess Bob, since Clint don't want it, I guess.
Kevin Murray.
Stetzel.
Bob Stetson. You want to vote for yourself?
Yes, I do.
All right, Nate Martin.
Well, I appreciate that, y'all.
Clint.
Thank
Yeah, the pro tem,
Sorry, I didn't know
I need
you
the pro
wanted it.
tem, and I
I'd like
nominate
to.
Mark Barker.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
I nominate Jim Bush.
Let me grab Clint.
You have to have a second on that? Second, Bob for Mark.
I did.
Kevin? Okay, need a second on Jim.
Motion fails.
I guess we got call for Mark Barker,
Yes. I'll take it.
Russell Reed,
Pass.
Todd Hollenberg,
Yes.
Jimmy Mangums,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney.
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes.
I guess Mark, you vote.
Now, number
Bob, you stay healthy now.
Pardon me?
You stay healthy now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will tell you this, and I hate to say it over the radio, don't say it. I'll be on vacation starting Friday. So for the next 2 weeks, you're the
You're it.
chairman.
Hey.
I need auto steering my Kevin's going.
Where you can text and run at the same time.
Well, thank you. Okay, number 7 now is to approve committee members, the approval of committee members, and that's a whole list. That's 11 pages full. We've already discussed some on the Industrial Development Board, which we've got city people, households, as Mark calls them, homeowners. And we have called for Jackie Francis to be taken from the role because, and if we find him on any other role, that would be also taken because he does not want to serve anymore. And we have also found out that for the IDB, that it would probably be good that Randall, who is the chairman of the IDB, either nominate somebody in his own or place him there or take it himself. So, what say you?
Pardon?
What do you say about having somebody on the Industrial Development Board here?
I think think that'd be wonderful. I don't have a problem in serving myself. However, I would like for this to be brought before our committee.
Sure.
And get back with you at the next meeting, if that's all right. I think it ought to go in our minutes.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's a good one to do it.
We can go ahead and remove Jackie.
Yeah.
We'll just have a vacancy there.
Yeah.
That will be filled off the IDB board.
And we're leaving Greg Rogers, which is a good move. What do you say that we're going to call him? Just a homeowner? Or?
Yeah, or homeowner, or property owner, or something like that. He owns property away from his home too in Cannon County.
Yeah. Well, looks like everybody else is alive. What about any other one? Of course, the library board takes care of itself. We don't even need to mess with them.
Hey, Bob, on the Homeland Security Committee, there's 14. It's an even number. Possibility of a tie. We need to add one more name.
Right. Do you have anybody in mind? What page is that?
That's the very last page, 11. No, I don't
Bringing
have
it
any.
to our,
Yeah.
Well, the fire board chairman's not on that committee.
and that's one that should be.
Well, I think so.
Mike, you're the fire board chairman, aren't you?
Yes.
Mike Underhill is. Would you want to serve?
Homeland Security Committee.
I took that Grady's place. Wasn't you on there, Grady, before?
Yeah, Grady George's name's on there.
His should be that position there, Kevin.
He was chair of the fire board.
He was.
Okay, well then we'll just move him off.
That still leaves.
Still leaves
even
one.
number.
And we still need another one, so,
Put me anything, I want to be on it.
do what, Grady? Huh?
That's what I do with Homeland Security.
Just leave him on there.
Okay.
Leave him and add that.
And add Mike.
Leave
then Mike on.
Brady on there and then put
Mike.
Michael
Add
on.
Mike. I don't know how to.
What's your
I don't know how to
address,
unload it.
What's your address?
556 Will Daniel Road.
Will Daniels Road, 556.
Amen.
At Woodbury? Any more?
I'd like to cut the budget committee back to 5,
How many's on it now?
7,
Did you, how many are commissioners?
5.
5 of them.
And you got 2 citizens.
I'd like to see the budget committee with 5 commissioners on. That's who's got to take the heat for it when it's over with.
Yeah, do you see any problems as far as actually meeting as commissioners, knowing that you're going to be going into a commission meeting?
We're doing it anyway.
I know, but see, the thing is, you would, already, right now, you have 2 that could dissent, you know?
We also, I mean, those meetings, all of our budget meetings are minutes are kept. Everything's out. Everything's out and open. They're public meetings.
Okay.
And I think the budget committee meetings are actually considered as a workshop type meeting instead of, because we can't make a decision. We can't vote a budget in or vote a budget out.
What page is that?
It's
Three.
3. If I would, I'd like to nominate Tony to take my place on the budget committee. If that was be appeasing everybody else.
Is that all right with Tony? I don't want him to.
Yeah.
I want him to vote for somebody else.
He told you on the buzz, you gonna
Yeah, he's at the budget meeting every time
I know.
anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I'd be happy to have him on there.
No, I'm not saying look come, but it's difficult.
I know. You have to drive your little brown truck too hard.
Mark, you're the chairman.
The 2 citizens that are on it, both of them add input to each of our meetings, and they help us to be able to, get a little bit of idea what the public, when we have our budget considerations, you'll always have the ones coming in that want their budget to be funded, and a little increase in their budgets, most of them. And you've got, it's good to have citizens on there. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but it's whatever the pleasure of the whole board is. The two citizens that are on there have been on there a while, and they are experienced at it.
Okay, any comments on that?
We may have to vote on that separate.
We'll have to vote on taking the citizens off or making it 5.
Making it 5.
Was that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do you think you'll have a better communications and not have as much problem? We're 7 people trying to reach an agreement? Is that?
I think that's part of it. I mean,
Let me ask you this, with that being said though, has there been anything that James or Bill hasn't done to contribute to make you feel like that it would change anything? I mean, I don't see that moving it down to 5 and removing those 2 would, the way I look at it, more heads to merrier, but I see the other side of that too. But it hadn't changed in the last 2 years. It hadn't changed anything.
I mean, either way, it won't matter. There's still 5 of us.
Right, but I'm just,
Yeah, when it comes down to it, you got 7 people that vote for or against the budget, but when they come to the table, 5 of those
I
7
understand
are the
that
ones
point.
come here. So, and I mean, I'm not disagreeing with Mark. They do. They bring a lot of knowledge,
Right.
and sometimes
I don't think it hurts
set eyes to
anything.
look. But I have to agree with Kevin. When we're the ones that's responsible, we're the stewards of the taxpayers' money.
Ain't
I think
nobody
we need to be
calling them to.
responsible. Yeah.
no, and I know that, but like I said, I don't see that it hurts anything them being there.
When we all sit here and vote to raise taxes, they ain't calling, like you said, they ain't calling them two jumping straight up and down.
They can still be here. But I'd like to see that.
Well, having the 2 citizens on there gives it, in my opinion, a more air of openness to the taxpayer.
Talking about validation.
Use the
Transparent.
word you want.
Well,
If we need validation, we got problems anyway.
Well, they'll take care of that in about 20 months.
That's right. If we need validation, they'll fix it. People will fix that. And the 5 of us are citizens.
okay, we had a motion by Kevin George and seconded by Kevin Mooningham to cut down the budget committee down to 5, which would be all commissioners. If you'll call the roll, please.
Okay. Mark Barker,
No.
Russell Reed,
No.
John Hollensworth,
No.
Jimmy Nichols,
No.
Jim Bush,
I can see both arguments with this. I really do. But, I think that as a whole, you need to kind of have a buffer with the people. And, Bill and James, they've done a good job, and I don't have no problem leaving them on it. I vote no.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Clint Higgins,
Nope.
Tony Neal,
No.
Kevin Mooneyham,
Yes.
Bob Stetson,
No.
2 for, 8 against, motion failed.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna put Tony on now?
I'm thinking about putting you on my spot now.
Hey, that is a thought, ain't it?
Can you do it?
Clint made a recommendation for Tony.
I'm gonna make a recommendation for Jim, take my place.
I think this should probably just be between us, isn't it? I mean, we don't have to have anything like that. All we have to do is agree on it. And-
Flip the whole five.
I was fixing to say, well, why don't we just flip the whole 5 and let the other 5 do it next year?
I ain't got no problem with that.
Because everybody means,
I do.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
well,
Jimmy wants to wait. We just then talked about that. He wants to wait 1 year. And he said he'd
Well,
try to do
Oh,
it
for the
next
change of 5?
for me and him rotate.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that was.
We should
that
be
would
able to
fine.
set up a time. You actually should be able to take, we're gonna have the IDB come up, and they're gonna show you their rotation, as far as 2 people on, for 2 years, and then they're off and they're replaced. And 4 people, the same thing until they get 6 people. That way they always, refurbish themselves with new people, and every 6 years, there's new people.
the only difference
And
is
they
that
also
we're going to be
have-
gone in 4. That's the only difference.
Are you,
I've been on it for 2 years.
defeatist, aren't you?
You just said I'm just telling you the honest truth. But you said my point though.
Oh, I do.
A 6-year term would be
Yep. It's hard to understand that budget enough.
I know, and you do it so well.
In 2 years to understand it enough to do a good job. And for a first-year commissioner to come in here and be on it, I can't imagine.
You did a good
Well,
job.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
can't
does.
imagine.
Well, like I said, I was
But
there last year at
did,
that first
and I
year.
appreciate that. But I'm ready for a break. I need a spring off. And if Jim doesn't want to do it, and one of you other guys wants to do it, that suits me too.
That's the thing about with me, with my work schedule, it'd have to be,
You've always worked midnights, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that the only reason we did it at 6 for us, I think, was because I requested it to be at 6 because me getting off work, and I don't know if it'd be an issue with the rest of them if you started at 5.
You're sure you don't want to do it another year? You've got a lot of experience now.
That don't mean I ain't gonna be here.
Right. That's my stance on it.
But I mean, it's not like I'm not gonna know about it, not know what's going on, but I've done it 2 years and I don't see I think it's time for somebody else to step up and get a little.
Well, that part I agree on, because I don't agree on having everybody on the same committee constantly. They forget that they're servants at that time.
With that budget, you can, and Tony knows this, everybody that was on it this time, you know that you understand it better now than you did a year ago. You can't help but to understand it. And the only way you'll ever really understand it is to sit here and go through every piece of it and go home at night and have something on your mind and dig through that the next 2 days. That's the only way. And until this whole commission understands that budget like Clint understands it and Mark understands it, then we can't, I don't feel like we can all do service that we should be doing. That's my opinion.
One time every commissioner was on it.
Yeah, that's why I understand. I think,
I don't know how many years ago that was.
I know, but, you know, Dale Bush said that's what he thought it would be, should be.
I think it was one day.
Yeah. I disagree with that.
Well, you get your final say when you vote to approve it anyway, so that's
right.
You got your final say. That's when you make and have to say what you got to say.
You know, if Jim can't make it one night and call me, I'll come and set this place. I don't care if we can do that or not, but I just, I'm going to take next spring off.
Well, you know how on the Joint Economic Committee, underneath it, it says what each person's interest is, like City of Woodbury. Can we not make the Budget Committee have one from each, instead of having a name? Can we not just give a District 1, District 2?
Well, that's pretty much what it is. That's the way it is right now.
That's the way it's set up now, yeah.
Everybody's.
It wasn't always set up that way.
No, but I
We
mean,
did that last year.
right? Because the first year, the 2010, it was just 5 of us, and it was me, us 3 as commissioners, and then had Bill and James are on it. That's when it was 5. And then last year, I like having each commissioner from every district. I like
I
that.
like having one from every district.
I did.
It went a lot smoother this time than it did the last time.
And I agree with you, Kevin. I think everyone ought to be on it. Because I'd be enlightening, and I had any intentions of making everyone the meeting this time, but I didn't make it.
But it's hard to do that unless your name, if your name was on that sheet, you feel like you're supposed to be here. And if it ain't on there, Well, I might just go out and eat tonight and let them hash that out, you know.
I wasn't eating.
I know, but you know what I mean.
And if you decide to do it that way, I'll take it just next year. If, you know, if y'all decide that's the route to go, and I think it's the route to go.
Well,
I think it should be.
Well,
I think everybody needs to.
Given your
Given
circumstances.
Given your circumstances, I don't think at this time it would be fair to you.
Well, you know, things may get better.
Well, I mean, if it
Of course,
does,
it was no
then,
worse than what Todd went through.
well, I understand,
That's
you know, like I said,
Todd as well.
right.
Yeah, but he's got more experience.
I don't see a problem
I'm
with,
still in a learning process.
Well, it's a good way to learn.
let the guys in the district decide who's gonna be there. But,
And it might be good not to change every single district at the point.
I don't think it would be.
No,
good.
that's
And you could have a substitute.
Don't need five newbies on
You know,
here.
if I was on it and I couldn't make it, Todd would come in and, you know,
You won't-
and fill in for
nobody
me.
will know.
That'd be fine.
He knows about.
No, I mean, he's at every one. He knows, yeah, he knows it.
Well, if you agree, if I can't make it, I'll take it.
How come
And you, like I
can't
said, you
make-
can talk with Mark, and y'all can, like I said, if you need to make it start at an earlier time, I don't think, that was the only reason we made it 6 for us, because I requested that.
What time you need to start?
Well, I mean, you know.
We've been
5,
starting at 6 and
Five.
getting done. Some nights we'd be 7:30. What time you have to leave Woodbury?
Well,
We can start at 5 and get done at 6:30, 7?
be fine.
Okay.
Well, hey, we'll just,
We'll do that.
when it's time for you to go, we'll stop.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And sometimes some of us have to leave before the meeting's over. I mean, if it, you know, if you get the information at the beginning of the meeting, you know, you don't have to.
That's fine.
Okay. Now, I have to back up because in order to be able to get this down as official records, I need to know what y'all are fixing to do on the budget committee. Kevin George is coming off, and who's going to replace Kevin George?
Jim Bush.
Jim Bush.
Okay. Jim Bush on. Okay, and then you got Clint that is coming off,
Tony Neal.
and Tony Neal is coming on. Anyone else? Not at this time. Okay. Then, we agree to this. All right, let's move on.
I got a question before we go any further. I know this beer board thing's been going on for a while, and last week there was some confusion over what time and when and where. Whose responsibility is it to
The beer
put
board.
the dates and times and stuff in the paper? And it's the
If
committee's
they
place themselves,
request, if they
or?
request one person like me, then I'll get it in, but he's the chairman of the
Okay.
leader.
I just didn't know, you know, I'd had questions
Well,
about
see,
it. and-
there was a mix-up last time when everything was changed. Everybody took it for granted that we changed our time, which
Right.
we
Right.
didn't.
Which we didn't. And that was where we had called for a special meeting on that night, and we took another meeting in its place. So, yeah, it can be my fault, or anybody else.
Well, I mean, it was just a miscommunication on this go, so, you know, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got another question too. Who calls meetings on these committees? I know I'm on some committees that's never met. So who's responsible for calling meetings for these committees? And
Whoever the head of the committee at that time, Mark, you got more experience in this?
Well, just going down the pages right there. You know, Jim called here on page 1. Jim called the beer board meeting last meeting we had. He told those people that wanted to meet with him next on September the 11th. We're going to meet at 5 o'clock. And then the second page, ambulance committee.
Whoever chairs each committee?
Yes, if there is a chairman, the law enforcement committee on page 2, the sheriff always calls me and tells me when he wants to meet.
well, see, there's an example, the ambulance committee. See, I'm on it, but we've never met.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whose job is it to call for a meeting and?
Ricky Kelp's not even on there.
It's not necessarily, it's Ricky, if he needs to have a meeting, he should call the.
He's not on
You're
there,
right.
though.
You're right. If Ricky needed to have a meeting about something,
Yeah.
he would call the ambulance committee.
Yeah.
Or call the,
Or call-
you.
Call me or Mike. It makes no difference, yeah.
Either one. And then we would discuss it.
Now, there has been talk, or, I mean, there's one of the things that we were looking at, I was looking at mostly was having a public safety committee, and that would take the ambulance committee and the law enforcement committee and just put them in together. Combine them, and you can take care of the business right then and there. Now, Ricky's fixing to take over everything as far as the ambulance goes. We're going to be out of the loop on that for certain things.
And he might need to call an ambulance committee meeting now more than
Right.
he used to be, have to. And he will have a committee under him, see, just like the sheriff has a committee working with him.
Right.
And I think that's best to keep them separate. The sheriff's got a committee working with him that is sort of a filter between he and the whole committee to go through things to begin with.
Okay. That is one thing if you'll look down below, we're going to have to deal with getting money for Ricky and for Reach tonight to be able to get them started. Okay. Now, is Bob Bass here? Mr. Meadows?
I am.
Okay. You'll stand up. This is number 8, discuss the partnership of county corrections and the county.
We need to make a motion to approve.
What did we not make a motion on?
To approve the committees.
I make,
Oh, that's right, we didn't do that.
that's right. We did everything else.
We changed everything.
So you're making the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Now, Mr. Meadows.
Well, thank you for having me here this evening. I'm glad I got to come up again. Bob Bass came and talked to the commissions once before, is that correct?
That's right.
And recommended the county partnership program to help the jail maintain certification through the next inspection cycle, is that correct?
Right.
Do I have any questions on the county partnership program?
There were probably 4 people that weren't here on that night, and I think all they really need to know is understand what exactly a partnership is going to mean to Cannon County, and when does it ever cost us anything?
Let's deal with the cost first.
Okay.
It's absolutely free. There is no cost for the county.
Right.
And what the partnership program does is it coordinates the facilities and the people you need in order to decide how you're going to deal with the problems at the jail. We're going to bring the sheriff and the jail staff in. We're going to invite members of the county commission and community to be there. We're going to call CTASC in and have them be a part of it. Jim Hart's going to come from CTASC. And we may have Jim Hart, our legal issue from the state, come down to talk about funding, legal ramifications of not being certified. And we're going to put all these smart people together and help you come to an agreement on what you need to do. Are we going to cost you anything? No, this is free. And it's all about education, really. We want the jail, the county commission, citizens of the community to all be educated on how we can make Cannon County a better county. How we can make our jail constitutionally correct. How we can relieve overcrowding in our jail. And what are some of the options we have. What will happen once we get ready to move forward with the county partnership program is I will come in and take pictures of the jail. Bob will put together a PowerPoint slide, and we will sit down. Jail people, county commissioners, and we're going to go over what some of the issues are at your jail, how it could affect certification for the upcoming year. When we're talking about certification, it may also affect how many state inmates you're holding. Crowding is a pretty common condition across the state right now for jails. Cannon County, you've outgrown your jail. Let me give you some numbers I got today. These are from the inspection I initially did. You're certified for 34 male beds and 8 female beds. The day of inspection, April 19th, you had 66 inmates, 53 males and 13 females, so you was overcrowded on both sides. When I came back for re-inspection, you still had 63 inmates, so the inmate population had only gone down 3. Today, when I got here today, your inmate population is 73 inmates. So it went up 10 since inspection day. The breakdown on that was 59 male and 14 female. The problem with inmate overcrowding is when you exceed the established capacity for your jail, then it throws all inspection standards out the window. Number one, square footage requirements for inmates. You can't meet those requirements. You can't classify your inmates. You may have inmates who are sexual predators that we can no longer house separate from other inmates, and the county becomes responsible for those inmates if they get hurt by other inmates, whether they hurt or rape other inmates, or whether other terrible things may happen in your facility. Because you know now, because I've told you, or you should have known. Once you've done that, also your classification of inmates are such that we can't classify and separate convicted felons from misdemeanors from those inmates who are on misdemeanor charges from state inmates. We sort of have to lump them all together. It also throws things out of whack like showers and commode facilities because your jail was designed to hold a certain number of inmates. Well, when you exceed your capacity of your jail, whether male or female, and you're on both now, then you can no longer meet those standards also. And these are all things the sheriff can't fix because it's a physical plant building problem. There was other issues that the administrator and the sheriff fixed before I came back for reinspection. But these are things that are building problems. Then we run into the issue, are we asking our sheriff to do selective arrest? I don't know. Is there more people out there he could arrest that need arresting? Meth dealers, drug dealers in our community, all those other things. Or is he doing selective law enforcement? Because his jail is so overcrowded, he has nowhere to put those people that need to be in jail. And does that endanger the community? So all of those things are things that we're going to look at and talk about during the county partnership program. And what we try to do with the partnership program is we bring these people together so that we can sit down, the commission can have an understanding of what the challenges are facing the jail and how we can work together and educate each other on what the jail needs, what the commission expects, what the citizens of the county expect. And there's absolutely no cost for that. It also allows, if you're making steps forward, you're having commissions meetings. Maybe you've talked to architects. Maybe we've gone through the design process of either expansion or new jail or justice center. I don't know what Cannon County might want to do. Then all of those things can be used to give the jail certification because you're taking those steps necessary. And we understand this is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes months, years in some cases, to reach the point where a jail is able to expand or the county is able to expand. We know that. But we still need to be doing our discussion and our talking and maybe do a study. CTAS does great studies and staffing analysis at no charge. They'll come in and do those things for no cost for you. So there's no money up front that you're going to lose. But once we put you on the program, and you have to approve that, the county commission does, then we're going to come in, we're going to do some training and education for the community, for members of the commission, and for the jail staff too, so that we can get all the people that need to be a part of the program together and talking. We don't allow pointing, we don't allow blame. We have to work together because it's a community problem, and I think everybody will agree with that. No money, we're here to help you. And I know I'm from a state and I shouldn't say that. But in this case, it is true. We're here trying to get you certification because if you're making progress forward, then the sheriff, the jail administrator, the mayor can appear before the board, our board of directors in Nashville, and say, hey, here's the things we're doing, and we're reporting every month, and we're doing jail numbers, and we've talked to judges about alternate sentencing, or maybe ankle monitoring for those inmates who are not a danger to the community. Alternate sentencing, maybe we're releasing them on probation and parole easier to alleviate some of the crowding in the jail. Are those things, positive things the community and the department's doing, trying to help overcrowding? They are. And all of these things need to be documented and forwarded every month so that when you come up for the board after I come to inspect, you can say, you know, we're working hard trying to get where we need to be. And if you're doing the things you can do, the board's going to recommend certification for your jail. And I really think it's a win-win. It's really been effective for those counties that we've put on the program so far. Any other questions?
Explain what it means if we're not certified.
What it means when you're not certified, it means that the county becomes liable in the event of an inmate lawsuit, which can cost the county millions of dollars. Maybe there's an inmate death in your jail. If you're not certified, then you're not meeting the minimum standards required by the state. And And it could fall from anywhere from overcrowding, can be a symptom of a greater problem inside your jail. When you crowd people together, maybe you're going to have an outbreak of staph infection. Because when you crowd people together, then that becomes an issue. Maybe you have even more inmate assaults. It's assaults on staff at the jail. All of those things can take place. Then it can infect the insurance provider for your county, for your jail, or your premiums may go up in order to cover that because you're no longer meeting minimum standards for state certification. Everybody asks, am I going to take your state inmates? Short answer is no, I'm not. A long answer is, could they be taken? That answer is yes also. It may also be that the state, because you're not certified, doesn't pay you the $37 that you're receiving now. Because if you're not certified, why should they pay you the certified jail rate? They may reduce that. And that's strictly between TDOC and the county commission. I have no dog in that fight. Any other questions, sir? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Can we get out of this?
When Mr. Bass was here, all of us commissioners, I think, were here when he made his presentation, so we all heard his presentation. And also, 2 members of the judiciary were here, two judges. And we need to get everybody involved, just like you said.
Absolutely, and it's really important.
That was a good start, but I was surprised, that we had, Darryl, did you contact them to have him here when Mr. Bass was here? Yeah, that's good. We need to get everybody on board so that everybody will know why we have to make these changes.
That's right, and it educates. It's all about education, really. A lot of times, and I've seen this in Monroe County and Ray County and other counties that I go to all the time, people just don't really know what's going on in their jail. And in a lot of cases, they don't want to know. And I don't mean that to sound the way it does, but if your head's sort of in the sand and you don't ever address it, it's not really a problem for you. And you have problems. And we need to bring them out in the open. We need to address them. We need to discuss them and decide what are the best options for Cannon County. And I think we do that by educating everyone that are the stakeholders in the jail in the county. Because everybody is a stakeholder. You gentlemen sitting right here are the purse string holders for the jail. That sheriff right there is a renter. I know that sounds weird, but it's absolutely the truth. He rents the jail from the county commission. He asks you for a budget every year, you approve it or whatever. But he really, all he's doing is using that facility to house the inmates for Cannon County, not from other counties. These are your inmates. These are citizens of your county. And I'm telling you, we're overcrowded. Almost double population of what it was designed to hold. So when you do that, everything else goes out the window. Any other questions?
Can you get out of this partnership?
You can tell me we don't want to participate.
Okay.
There is no, it's not a binding agreement. It's for the county and the jail to remain in a certified status with the state. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it means you have to do some things. You have to report monthly, and usually the jail administrator and the mayor get together and run a report. Like tonight, we've had a commissions meeting. I was here, the sheriff was here, county commissioners was here. He would, or the mayor would do a report, such as the minutes from the report where we talked about what we discussed. If there's a vote on whether we're going to accept CCP, is that a step forward? Absolutely. And we'll recognize that as such. Anything else, sir?
No other questions? Okay, I thought that it was presented really good and loud enough that everybody heard it.
I'm sorry, sir. I spent 20 years in the Army.
Yeah, I got my hearing aids, really.
I'm an old drill sergeant. I speak from here.
You hadn't had the hearing aids in, you didn't need it.
I can still hear him now. Yeah. And it sounds like we need sheriff to talk. Give us your thoughts, Darryl.
Well, I had to go to Nashville here before TCI to beg to keep our certification. Miller stood up with us, and myself and Mike Gannon signed an agreement to enter this plan of action. But we need the commissioners on board to do it. We can't do it ourselves.
I think it's a win-win thing myself. We're going to get all the educational all the experience from all these other places that are dealing with them, and all it's going to do is benefit us.
It'll give us the information to make the right decisions.
Right, exactly.
You can't make a right decision without the
Right,
information.
you're
The
exactly
problem
right.
we're facing right now, when I started 22 years ago, Kevin would probably say the same thing. Times have changed, people's changed. It's not going down, it's going up. And it's gonna continue to go up, no matter where we're sitting here, or who else is
They
sitting.
do seem to be more violent today than they used to be.
Well, Darrell will tell you the same thing. You even recognized it when you were sheriff because you went in right behind Robert Simpson. You knew then it was too small.
Well, all right, then I'm going to call for a motion that we join the partnership with, actually it's going to be the state of Tennessee just about with all CTAS and everything else that goes with it. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we got Kevin is first, beat Russell out, Russell second, and call the roll, please.
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Russell Reed.
Yes.
Todd Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Ken Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooneyham.
Yeah.
Bob Stetser.
Yes. Now we're calling for the local sales tax increase as a referendum. We've learned through this this process that was going on the sales tax that it was there's certain things that has to go on. You have to be 60 days in front of the, or you have to be 40 days or whatever it might be at that time. Now, one of the things is we're at the very last day that this can be done. Mike Gannon, before he went on vacation, called me down Saturday morning and said, bring me a copy of the resolutions I did, and he wanted to sign it. Because as soon as I sign it, as soon as we vote on it, if it passes, then Bobby Smith is going to sign it. And then we got Mrs. Youngo here that works over there in the election commission. She can take it to, what's her name? Dorinda. I knew it was something. And then it will be legal for the election on November 6th. So, I sent y'all a copy of it. We've discussed it over this whole year
think there's been no
and a little bit
discussion.
last year. Whether or not it passes in November, whether or not, it was our duty to present something like this. Half the money goes to the school. It's never going down. It's always going to be the same, and we need to be able to have it. Now, everybody on this sales tax, when you go to Murfreesboro and you buy something, you're paying the same sales tax that we're trying to enact.
Any surrounding county.
Any surrounding county. We are below them, that's right, but I can't even tell you how many people that don't go to Murfreesboro, because it seems like I see everybody up there. But anyway, it's all it is, it's for to be able to get it on the referendum and to let the people choose. And that makes it easier to do. So I'm going to call for a motion that we adopt this resolution for raising the county sales tax.
I'll make that motion.
Clint Higgins, Jimmy Mingle, second. And the roll, please.
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Russell Reed.
No.
Todd Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
No.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Ken Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooneyham.
Yes.
Bob Stetser.
Yes.
David Carr.
Okay, now.
Probably got another county done where you can do it here.
Now we're coming for the approval of the budget amendment from the Sheriff's Department. And Sheriff, we need you to stand up and at least comment on this. Or, okay.
All right, what you need to know.
we just need to know that why these are being changed. Now, we can look at it and see, you know, the checks and balances and everything else like that. But usually, most of your stuff is where you've gotten something else in instead of spending it, right?
All we're doing is moving it from one line to the other we have. All right, your patient charges, we're gonna decrease that line item, $108, and we're going to put it into the medical.
Into the medicine?
Medical.
Okay.
Because that is where the inmates had to pay for non-prescription drugs. And that goes to the commissary, and we get a check from them. So we can put it back into our medical line item. The miscellaneous refund, I've got it broke down. We received $190 from Pellets and for the sale of scrap. We did receive more than that, but part of it had to go in the capital outlay, $138. We received from Gov Deals Incorporated $1,697 because we sold a 1998 and a 1999 Crown Vic and a 1991 Nissan pickup truck. And all that come in from those vehicles being posted on the govdeal.com. We got a check, $849, which went into the medical and dental because Stone Rivers is for unclaimed property. And the hospital's got a check was issued to our department on 4/22 of last year for a hospital claim that the hospital said to pay it twice. The department never did receive that check, so they issued us another check for that. And the $480 went into our utility line item, and all that is miscellaneous refund, so we're decreasing what went in miscellaneous refund, $3,216, and it's going into different line items. And I've got here $480, we received a check from Middle Tennessee Electric Corporation, and it was for energy rate due to small businesses. And other state revenue, we received checks there for the handgun, background checks that we do, and that is gone into the maintenance and repair on the equipment. And all the check from gov.deal is going to our vehicle line item, along with the sale of the scrap that we sent out. So we're just decreasing the patient charge line item, the miscellaneous refund line item, and the other state revenue line item, $3,654, and that broke down is going to the line items on the other side, increasing them. Going back into the sheriff's department budget. And then we've got another one from the drug side. And it was proceeds from confiscated property that went into that line item because the vehicles that were confiscated through DNCs, and they were awarded to us by the state. So that is going into a motor vehicle line item in the drug fund to help out another.
Okay, thank you.
And we took the $9,030 from those sales.
I'll make a motion, we approve both of these.
Oh, I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
On the drug fund, the seized vehicles, were any of those DUI seizures?
We took that out and put it over here in the,
When you brought that to my attention, we went in there and changed that.
Okay.
put
Put it back into the general fund? Good deal.
That was the 91 Nissan?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Oh.
And I want to compliment Miss Hilda. She's got this all in black and white.
Yep.
So you don't even have to hear what she says, you know, us commissioners don't. The audience can hear that, but we already have it right here in black and white, and she does a wonderful job.
What it was a payback from the insurance company to the hospital, and the hospital didn't know about it, because we paid it off, the county paid it off, insurance went there, and then the hospital had to send it to us.
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we approve both of them, the drug fund and the general fund.
I'll second.
We got a second from Clint Higgins.
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Russell Reed.
Yes.
Carl Holmesworth.
Yes.
Jimmy Nichols.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooney.
Yes.
Bob Stevens.
Yes.
All five. Motion carries.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to have Randall Reed come here, and he will explain on his, there was one thing that happened a couple months ago that one of you commissioners had said that he's gonna have to come up, one of them gonna have to come up and be reaffirmed, because it was replacing somebody at the moment. And Doug, do you remember that? There was, this was on affirmation of the IDB board, and then we had to fill another position, which was you, Corey. Who left? Did somebody leave?
Jackie, 2 others, and then it was, Charlie, it's the state law that this,
Right.
IDB falls under.
Right.
It stipulates for, up to,
Had to be
at least
7,
people,
yeah.
2, 4.
Right, and so that's when we did that. So Mr. Reed here is the chairman of that board, and I want to tell you, they've done a really good job. You're going to find out some of that stuff tonight. And you're going to tell us who the list of the people is that's going to be 2 years and out and replaced. I mean, yeah, that sounds bad, 2 years and out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is from our August the 7th minutes of the Industrial Development Board, and I'll just read it as follows. Rotated of ID members was discussed. Bob Stetzel explained that other committees in the county would be following this procedure. He stated the IDB should also follow this procedure, therefore, Doug read the TCA codes and showed that the members should be staggering their terms on the board. It was agreed upon that since this board was officially appointed on June 12, 2012, that the terms of office would begin from that time forward. The motion was made that Randall Reed and Dean Moore will rotate off the board on July 1st, 2014. Mindy Gunner and David Vance will rotate off the board on July the 1st, 2016. Corey Davenport, Neil Applebaum, and Doug Beaudry will rotate off the board on July the 1st, 2018. The motion was approved unanimously. A motion was also made that the members who rotate off the board will automatically become ex officio members and can be called upon to give guidance on past issues. They will have no voting rights, but they would be able to talk and address the board if so desired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Who did you say Dean Moore would be?
Dean Moore. Be out from 14.
Dean Moore was July 1st, 2014.
Okay.
Did you address how long somebody has to stay off before they can get back on?
We did not.
Some boards that I've been on, you had 2 terms, for instance,
Right.
and you had to stay off for 1 year or maybe 2 years, depending on what kind of board. it
We
was.
did not discuss that. We can do that.
And that is one thing, like I say, with the state law on that. And I wanted you to know that, and because like I say, you're going to be coming up with you're going to be hearing a lot of stuff later on, whether or not I tell it or Mr. Reed tells it on the board here. There's a lot of findings that we as commissioners and as county members, citizens, don't realize that what goes on in business and stuff. Do I have a motion to affirm these?
I'll make it.
All right, and Mason, then Kevin George is second. Call the roll, please.
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Russell Reed.
Yes.
Carl Holmesworth.
Yes.
Jimmy Nichols.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooney.
Yes.
Bob Stevens.
Yes. Number 12, I think Jim Bush's board took care of that when they specifically said that they're going to honor the state as far as the distance requirement between a church and a school and a business that serves alcohol. So I won't even have to bring up number 12. That would have been able to clarify at that time if we were drawn into the vote. Okay? Okay, is Faye here? Is it, Grady, are you acting in her place? Well, there's some questions that need to be answered, and I want to tell you, the law.
Let me tell you where she's at. You know that?
No.
The guy, you know, she's been telling you she's taking care of this guy.
Carl, somebody.
Carl, yeah. He died, and she's went to New York for his services. She's at, took him to New York for his services. That's where she's at.
Okay. Clint, we hold this over the next meeting?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Really.
We'll hold it over to the next meeting and pass it on. Okay, this is something that's near and dear to Russell's heart. Discuss keeping the commission meetings at once a month. This is a yearly review asked for when the meetings were changed to once a month from quarterly. So let's have our discussion on that. You can go first, Russell.
Everybody knows my position. And I've since learned that it takes you 2 weeks to prepare for these meetings.
Yeah.
Going back to 8 meetings a year, which would keep us within our budget, would also give you an extra 2 weeks to prepare.
I don't know that that's we're going to do me any good anyway. So
that's all I got to say.
In my view, and I'll just say, in my view, I think that I can't talk for the citizens as far as that goes, but I have been told many, many times that they appreciate us meeting, and especially since how we didn't raise, pay and everything else, although we did under state law. But we get stuff more done, and if you'll look at the load that we have meeting every month, so.
I do appreciate it.
I would entertain anything from y'all, and of course, if it's a motion to keep it this way, then so be it.
Well, so you're saying eight meetings
a year? A year would keep us within our $200 a year, which would save the taxpayer, for all of us, $1,000. I know that don't sound like much, but.
It's already in our budget, as Mike had pointed out before, that it's in our budget to be able to have that money in there to.
It's already in the budget, but approved to pay us.
Right. Is that the only reason? Is
yeah,
the money to $1,000?
Can we?
No.
Can we come to agreement for it? We can just go ahead and meet like we are, and then we just go ahead and just sign our checks back over to the county and just let it rip.
Anybody that wants to can.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody wants to
Anybody wants to give the county money and give it to them any day. They can sign the property over the county if they want to.
All Diane, tell them about cutting your check.
I personally don't think $25 is too much to ask for what we do.
That's right.
If you ain't doing nothing, if all you're doing is just showing up, it may be too much. But if you do anything, some of us spend a lot of time outside of these meetings.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Doing a lot of studying, a lot of phone calling, and talking to a lot of people.
Continue doing like we've been doing, the quarterlies on the Saturdays and the other times on
I think that
whatever
that's
Tuesday
good.
night it is, it's just first or second.
We got a second here with Kevin Mooneyham. Kevin George. I'm sorry. I was looking straight at you, Kevin.
I know it.
A lot of resemblance.
Yeah.
So your motion is to keep it once a month, right?
Once a month, right.
Yeah, but the quarterlies will be on
Saturdays like those.
in
Right.
April,
Okay.
June.
I think that's just a good tradition that we ought to do anyway.
October, we'll meet in daytime.
That's right.
Right.
And there's some citizens that can't be here at this time of night, but they can be here on Saturday.
On a Saturday morning, right.
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Russell Reed.
I'll go along with you. Yeah.
Yes.
Jim Megan.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooney.
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Number 15. At number 15, I'm going to pass it to Mark Barker, because everybody knows I'm not that much on the budget.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand this one right here.
Well,
I thought we had it running just like it was supposed to.
It was supposed to. Ricky, could you stand up? This is about the ambulance right here.
No, it's
Reach is first.
Let's get Reach done for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I looked at it.
Yeah, I want to do that.
We need to put this off to the next meeting because I do not understand.
There's not supposed to be an anticipation.
Right.
Anticipation
That's right.
note
It's
for
all
that.
federal grant money, isn't it?
It's all off of grant money. There's not.
That's how we got in the mess to begin.
That's,
What,
yeah.
Exactly.
what
That's
is
what
it? Ask Doug what it is.
This came from Mike
I know.
himself.
Well,
What is this?
It's, they have to, for cash flow purposes, make payroll.
Yes.
Grant anticipation note, what it is it's just to move for cash flow purposes until the grants come in. Now, make sure you got a grant approval.
I started to say, where's the grant?
Right. Hey,
Make sure you.
I'm
That's
just a
the
messenger.
way we got into this whole reach mess to begin with is we weren't seeing the grants.
Right.
Yeah, make sure you got that.
They give them money for grants that didn't come in.
Better table that one till you
Yeah.
till you see some proof that we're gonna get some money.
I agree.
So, I mean, it's a dead issue.
It is. At this time, I don't know how, is there anybody from Reach here? Administration? I wish there was. But,
Doug,
I wish y'all get hold of Diane. I don't know if they can make payroll, if they don't have cash enough to make payroll until you guys meet again. That's the whole point of that revenue anticipation note, or grant anticipation note. So you guys can, anybody have a phone number for Diane to see if they have enough money to make payroll for a month?
Yeah.
I don't.
You can move on, I'll look for it.
Diane couldn't be here tonight. I asked her to be, and she said her children had some kind of performance or something. Oh, what?
The only number I've got for is the courthouse.
Jim's got it, I think.
Jim's got her.
Ricky, while we're at it, I want to ask you though, you got money to operate on now, don't you?
Well, this money that we're taking in for the last 2 months.
Well, that's what you're going to be using now, isn't it? You're going to be running the ambulance service through all of your monies. You're the ones that are going to be taking that, right?
I suppose, I think the county commission voted to give what, 21%?
19, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that's right.
I don't know when that comes in. We've already taken in for the last 2 months, July and August, we've taken in a little over $90,000. So we should have enough money to operate.
If we voted to give them 19 cents on the budget for the county, and they were already gone to where they're supposed to be operating by themselves. Are we just giving them that right now until, and all of a sudden their money's going to be coming in, and next year you won't be, if everything's in, you won't be coming to the county at all, will you?
Well, I hope not.
Well, we hope not too. You know, it should be
plan on
self-sufficient with the money that I've seen that's come in. You know.
But is there a reason why that's on there? He says he's got enough to make it.
Mike just gave me these.
We'll table both of those until Mike is here.
Okay.
I agree with that because
he's got a reason for
You
putting
say
them on
you got
there.
enough, you said you had enough money to operate now?
for a month.
I don't know. We pulled 19 cents out of him.
Yeah, but we didn't give them the full 19. We didn't give them one big lump sum. You see what I'm saying?
We won't get any money until the
Well, that holds you over till next month.
in $90,000 in last month.
Oh, you got enough pay, you got it.
But
Well, look, we approved the tax anticipation note for seed money. As long as that's in there, yes. But if that's not in there, then I don't think that.
Well, I feel kind of foolish because he gave it to me.
Is that what?
do we need to do the ambulance?
That's what I'm.
That was seed
Yeah,
money
because
until.
they already voted the 19 cents in.
Yes, that's right, but it hadn't been paid in to the trustee.
Right, but we didn't give them the full 19 cents in one big.
Yeah, we were giving them a
It's an operating fund.
Right. We gave it to them, but we didn't give it to them. Was here to handle. We didn't hand it to them.
It will come into them for a while, so they're wanting this
seed money.
seed money. That's a good name for it.
Is this a note from the bank or is this a note from County General?
County.
A tax anticipation. That was what we agreed. That's what come out of that services.
Well, we can.
Because their budget has to start with something.
There was something.
Yeah, and see, we can agree on the fact that we know that he's going to be getting revenue in.
That was it.
But as far as reach goes, we don't.
We don't.
We already approved that.
That.
Question.
But how did we approve something that we don't know the amount of, though?
We already approved the $400,000 tax anticipation note from debt services. We did that when we approved the budget.
So this is where that was supposed to go, right?
Should.
So why are we having to approve it
We shouldn't
now?
have to approve it again. It's already been approved as far as
I think Doug's got something he wants to say. He's itching.
Go
ahead.
That used to be, they changed the rules on that with the, when you used to just a blanket for tax anticipation notes. Now they want, because what's happening in several counties, they just didn't pay them back in a timely manner, because these notes have to be paid back by June 30th, and that wasn't happening in a few counties. So state comptroller said, hey, we want the commission to be aware of when the tax anticipation notes are issued, and even before this goes in front of you guys, this is not on ball, you know, he's just got what he's got.
Right.
It's, they have to do downstairs, they have to do a cash flow analysis to show that those funds need cash flow to operate until their taxes come in mainly December and then in February. So, for that cash flow analysis, they needed money somewhere from this month to, you know, when the money, the property tax start kicking in. So I wish you guys had that information, because that's what you need.
That's what Russell has looked it up here. In the budget for the ambulance, we had a tax anticipation note, and that's over to the county general, is what it is. I mean, it's not going out and borrowing money from somebody else.
Right.
Of $200,000. Now, that's the way we've been running the solid waste, you know, for several years, been doing it that's the same way. It's been $200,000 in the past, but it's gone down some. This is the only time we'll have to do this with the ambulance, I think, because after this year, you'll come out to the end of the year with a fund balance of $5,000 is what we anticipate, $5,500, and then next year won't have to do it, see. This is just seed money to get them started.
Right.
Let's vote on the.
What is that?
And there was another county that just started.
And
Doug, you remind me the name of the county that just brought their ambulance service into their own budget. And that same county did the same thing. It was a small, was it Bedford County?
No, but, I mean, it's a common practice.
Yeah, and it's a common, and the auditors have never.
Trousdale County.
The auditors of, you know, our county government has always paid those right back before the end of the year, just like they were supposed to for the solid waste, and we'll do the same thing for the ambulance service, and there won't be any problem with it. But we need to pass number 16, because the ambulance service, you know, they need that.
What this amounts to is making sure that everybody's aware of what's happening with that.
That's right. I make a motion that we approve the ambulance services startup money.
Ms. Bedwell.
Do I have a second?
Hey, Jim Bush.
I'll second that motion.
Was there
We're
some
right in the middle
stuff?
of a meeting
Didn't he
right
say there's some
here,
stuff
and
that
we just got
that they're supposed to do
paperwork
down
on
there?
the REACH money funding. Do you have money to operate?
He's not talking to ambulance, he's talking to reach.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Russell Reed.
Yeah. Do you have enough money
I work for the
to
ambulance
operate
service, and that doesn't influence my vote. I vote yes.
Jimmy Mangum.
payroll and so forth?
Jimmy Mangum.
Yes.
Okay, Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Well, what I'm,
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yes.
Bob Stutz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Pass this around.
Before we go to business, let Jim get on.
Pardon me?
how much?
He's talking to Linda Better.
Yeah. I'm passing around some new stuff for other business.
You've got a contract already signed for the 56,000? Okay. And you've got the contract already signed for the 97,000? Well, see, that we did not have none of the paperwork. But you have got the money. So you're gonna get 97,000, you're gonna get 56,000. Right, for sure.
Hey.
Okay, okay, now what do you need to operate?
You're gonna smoke.
Do you need money to operate?
I think I'll fix the start up again.
not having all the paperwork.
I know it.
Hey, Bob,
Right.
the next time we have anything that has
Right.
the words, notes in it,
For anticipation.
anything that any of this kind of stuff. it
Okay,
doesn't
now,
have the-
what we're
it doesn't have
asking
every
right
piece
now,
of
how
paper.
much do you need?
We don't need to be asking what we're doing.
Well, like I say, we
I
just give it
know
to
it.
me at the last, you know.
Yes,
It's.
until
it
you get your
reminds me
money.
a lot of what we used to do a couple of years ago.
Right.
I mean, we're sitting here and the first time you see
Yeah,
it,
then you
just
do
now,
that.
you get your butt straight.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's, what- you know,
Thank you.
nobody
That's why I had
gave us
y'all.
any kind of paperwork at all.
Sometimes I forget that.
I think meet once a month when you do what.
You didn't?
I do too.
Yes. If they can't make the agenda, then forget
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Come back,
Hey.
get on the agenda next month.
Bob, set a deadline, however many days prior to your meeting.
He's already got one because
Well,
he has
then
I already have it.
then hey, then do away with other business then.
Yeah, I already have it, but then when you get to the point
I
that,
understand, there's no
you know,
problem
somebody
with that.
that,
So you can't
either
tell
haven't
us how
got their
much you
reports
need?
in so they can make that, ahead of time, you know, like the, county garage. That was one of them. They wanted some budget amendments, and I said, you know, I've already made the budget up and sent it to the commissioners, or made the package up. And so,
can't they bring it? They just gotta wait a month.
yeah, instead of 3.
That takes
And that's why I'd rather have it that way.
Sometimes 17 takes up half our meeting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we done been here an hour and a half.
That's right.
And Jim wanted to do it.
Well, my goodness, you making $25?
Man, Bill, like, he can work on his chicken.
Left that to Russell, you wouldn't be making that.
Rutherford County makes $550.
When
I
will
gotta
you
go
get your
top the
money?
chickens up.
Plus the insurance and benefits.
Yes, ma'am.
My neighbor down there, Ben Hartson, he had a special guy on his feet when I was a kid. Was he worked at the A-Rail?
Yes, ma'am.
When the sun started going down, it's so dark, the door closed. And I said, well, how do you make sure they all get in there? He said, well, the ones that ain't smart enough to get in there and take care of themselves.
Okay.
So the ones that ain't smart enough to get on the agenda could wait till the next time.
I agree. I don't have a problem.
Okay, so
I
what
don't
you're talking
either.
about, you needing
I'll make
25.
the motion, y'all back me.
I'm fine with that.
For what?
Do away with other business.
Other business?
Until you get your
They
money.
can wait till the next
Meet once a month.
All righty, well, I sure do appreciate it.
They can get on there.
Should be able to.
Well,
If they can't, they just gotta wait a month.
Jim, we got to go.
do what now? No. What we're doing, we're trying to get you money where you know, operate. And what we were wanting to know, if you had your
That's what they get.
grants lined up and signed for, and it's already saying that
Either
you're
way about
getting
it,
your money. That's what we were
$7,500 a
looking
year.
for.
What is it?
That's what y'all passed the resolution. Pending C,
Okay.
grant application has been approved, or the approval right now. So you guys know, don't know before the money's left.
Uh-huh.
that the
Read it
grant's
to
there.
Okay, that's all we need to know. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Back on the whining.
Yeah, Jim?
All right, this is the deal. She has got 2 grants that are signed for. One is for $97,000, which has already been okayed, and one is for $56,225, which has already been signed off and approved. Okay? Mike is supposed to have the paperwork in his office, which we didn't get a copy of it. We did not know nothing
Did I
about
hear
it.
her say she just got them yesterday? Did I hear her say she just got them yesterday?
The 56.
Okay.
The 97 had already
Already
been
had it.
approved. So, and she's saying the only thing what she needs is $20,000 to operate until the grant money starts coming in, which is a month. Once we do this and once she pays her stuff, when he turns it in, she said she'll get her check and then she'll pay, it'll be paid back to us. But the grants has already been finalized.
I'll make a recommendation that we approve this upon the, what's the word I'm looking for? Stipulation, thank you. That somebody sees a copy of that grant work
You talking
showing where
about,
we got it.
verification maybe, is what you're looking for, verification?
Yeah, verification, that would be a good,
Let Bob go down there tomorrow or whatever, verify, see that it
Well,
is signed, we got it.
Supposedly Diane and Mike has got all the paperwork for these 2 grants.
Yeah, and it's Wednesday tomorrow, so.
Have they
Well,
paid
third.
back the money that they were supposed to pay back from before?
Don't even get into that one.
So are we gonna go in this hole that much more?
No, the
And they're not
insurance is
paid
supposed
in?
to pay us back. Tony.
Not what was stole. They borrowed money before that hadn't been paid back yet.
That's why I'm saying.
No.
Motion to approve upon Bob being able to go down there Thursday and verify they've got this grant
Verify they got the
paperwork.
money.
If
And then
Bob
if
can't
they
go down there
got
and
the
say he's got
money,
the
then-
paperwork, then no, it's null and void.
That's good. And she said she'd need for about a month, because
Yeah.
that money will come in on.
Right.
That's where we
Just-
got,
just for the
that's how we
month.
got in the mess, was not seeing that paperwork.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we should had a copy of the paperwork here tonight instead of this letter. Actually.
Well, the only way you stop that from happening is table it to next month. If you table it to next month, the next time they think about bringing something without all the paperwork, they'll remember to bring the paperwork. But the only problem with that is you're talking about shutting them down.
Exactly.
But
Which, I mean, you know, I mean, it's not a fault of our own.
I feel like Mike should have had this here.
Sure.
If there was somewhere I could shut Mike down for not having it here, it'd be one thing, but I don't want to shut Linda down for Mike not having it.
Well, she told you, didn't she tell you just got one of them yesterday, right?
Well, she got it okayed and signed for.
Her copy back signed yesterday.
Right, and it's been
And,
validated that
You know,
it
when you
is.
apply for things, sometimes they drag their feet.
Sure.
And it may not be anybody in County's fault. It may be somebody, somewhere
But
else.
there's no reason,
what we're
there's no
talking
reason the
about
copies of those papers, if they're down there in his office, they could be right here tonight too.
Exactly.
But we do have the email that the lady sent to Diane Higgins.
Well, I mean, the email is one thing, but the paperwork showing the grant money is
That's
another.
another thing, that's exactly right. I agree with Kevin Mooneyham. Let Bob go down there and get it verified and
And if it is
tell
what
him
it
to transfer
is,
$20,000 for a month. And it's just moving money is all it's doing. It's not,
Sure.
it's just moving it over so they can operate and pay their employees, because they got people that pay their employees.
Got it too.
but we've got to know it's got to be paid back.
Kevin, you gonna make
Is that
that?
a motion?
I done made it.
Do you second it?
I second.
Jim Bush. Mark Barker,
Yes.
Buster Williams,
Yeah.
Paul Hollenworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Nagle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Clint Higgins,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
No.
Kevin Mooneyham,
Yeah.
It could have been a little quieter.
No. I say no.
Clark, do again.
Bob didn't want to have to go down there.
I still got to go down, I know that. Okay, I have read in this, in the book for what I'm beginning to do. Whenever the chairman, I've thought, is pushing for a certain thing, then he has to turn over the reins to the pro tem to be able to control the meeting in the right way. In other words, as being the chairman, seeing how I'm, the only way that you can present anything is come through the chair there, they feel like that the commissioners won't buck me, which that's, that's a laugh. But, so, right now, Mark, you need to act as chairman. Because you can,
To go to other business?
yes, it is.
Okay.
And this, right here, we had already addressed this at one time, but what it is, it's for the COAT, which is the County Officials Association, and I don't know what the T stands for.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. It was taken away illegally. We've had this in there, and it was taken away. And evidently, one of the people that are in a department head came to the budget committee at the time and said that they don't want to pay it. Although they're not paying it, the county's actually paying it. It's just like any other association, like the sheriff would have their dues paid for the association. Mike Gannon would have his dues paid for the County Mayor's Association, and on down the line. Well, this is for the county officials that are in the different offices, like Bobby, that are aided by the County Officials Association. Now, what that does is that they are always on the hill. They're kind of lobbyists. And I want to tell you, they represent 94 of the 95 counties, and we are the 95th county. 94 of them say yes. Cannon County says no. And I told them, I said, well, you just have to know Cannon County. It's for their benefit. Everything is for their benefit. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Debbie Morris and Dana had expressed they wanted to know about it. And I told them that it wouldn't cost their budget. It would be put into their budget. It hasn't been in the budget for 2 years. Because what happened at this meeting was, they came in and said, I don't want to pay it. And then the budget committee, and Mark, you would have been on it at the time, said, well, you know, it's why should we pay it? Because they're going to represent us anyway. And they are. Everything they do up there is going to represent. But at the same time, it's also the part of being in the in that association that would be a little bit more personal then. I mean, how would you like that? If he goes up there and said, I represent 94 of the 95 counties in Tennessee. Now that kind of takes away from his machismo, you know what I mean?
Did you,
what do you get out of it? All right, for example, I don't know if you know, but 2 years ago, the legislature actually said, made a motion to stop every county officer, every county department head of getting a raise for 5 years. And if it wasn't for this, well, they fought it and told them that's crazy. It needs to stay the same, that whenever it raises up. Because you're going to keep people. Now, Daryl's in a number 5 county. We are concerned number 5. There's only 6 numerical places. So there's only one county lower, I mean, one step lower that doesn't get, they get the least money for their sheriff, because they have the least population. And then there's Daryl, he gets his. Well, when you step up 2 or 3 steps and you go to Murfreesboro at $100 and something thousand a year for that, well, this coalition or association is the one that monitors that to make sure that everybody is dealt with to where it doesn't stab the people in the back. Because those people up there in the legislature, they don't care.
Did you say that 2 of them?
Based on population, what you pay.
As far as the steps go, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Big county pay a whole lot.
Yes.
Cannon County is what, 475?
407.
407, yeah.
The night that was brought up.
It was lobbyists, people down there lobbying for different.
It's lobbying for y'all.
If they knew that.
Was staying in the Marriott Hotel.
I know, but we haven't asked you yet, Bobby. We haven't asked you if you wanted to go in it too. But there are 2 office holders. There are 2 office holders. Bill Bryson's office said that he'd be glad to do it, and then Debbie's office said it'd be okay.
The night that was brought up, I was here.
I remember as well.
Dwayne Prater brought that up. Wayne Prater brought that up, and he sat right there in that chair, and he said that he had talked to every office holder in the courthouse, and they all said they didn't want to be in it.
Right.
And we could take that $400, $800, whatever it was, and we could save that money.
It's 407.
And we all sitting there at the table looked at each other and said, well, if nobody wants it, what are we doing?
I think Wayne recalled he talked to everybody in the office, and nobody had no idea what it was for.
Nobody knew what it was for, anything else. Now,
right.
if which Lynn didn't know they took it away, and Davey didn't know they took it away, and Bill didn't know they took it away. I don't know about the rest of you, but that ain't what we was told that night.
Wasn't told what?
We weren't told that we were told that nobody knew what it was and nobody wanted it, and that's why we took it out.
Do they know that we're not paying? Because we still get.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the guy knows.
We get that little monthly news. Don't y'all get a little monthly news letter from it?
They know we're not paying.
We're basically if we were a union, we'd be scabbing right now. That's what we'd be doing.
We want milk.
That's right. We'd be riding for free on that deal, and it's $407. You know, twice $814.
Do I hear a motion to get back in the County Officials Association of Tennessee and pay our dues?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, wait a minute, this is per office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we do that, we're gonna do it for all the offices or just these two that
If they want to come in,
asked?
if they want to come in, we'll address it at a later time. The way that Bobby sounds, he don't want to be in it.
Well, I'm just trying to
Well,
say.
you do, you get a service for it, you get,
I'm trying to save the taxpayers money.
Yeah, well, what do you get? We don't
People
get
lobby
anything.
down there, most people don't know what they're doing.
yeah, right,
They
I agree.
Jack Daniel and stand in the Marriott Hotel. You won't know the truth.
That's the truth.
That's the truth. And it owes the state, it amounts to a whole lot of money.
You know, one county,
We just a drop in the bucket.
I'm just presenting it.
If y'all want us.
Because I'm presenting it is the reason why I gave it to Mark, because he can make a ruling on
The
it.
commission won't pay it, it's fine with me. But I'm trying to save the county money.
do I hear a motion to put the register of deeds and the county court clerk $407 apiece so they can be members of this?
I'll make a motion.
No, the chancery board, not the county court.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, excuse me, excuse me. My bifocals is messing me up.
I would vote on everybody, the whole county being in.
I would too.
That's what I would do.
Well, that's what the budget amendment I've got here before me just says those two.
Right.
You put in
It
there.
does say those two because they had already withdrawn, and these are the ones that had asked for it.
Okay.
We're the only county not in it, I'd vote for the whole county.
Right.
So that's what I was asking. Are we just gonna vote for these two here, or are we
No,
gonna
we
vote
can
for the
vote for the whole thing, I mean, as far as that goes.
Sheriff, he's into it too, that right? Well,
If you're talking about 407 per office, you go about 10 offices.
It's a year, yeah, 407.
How much?
Tea Party got started just
There's more
more than
offices than
95
that,
too.
isn't
Maybe
It's $2,035 to put everybody in it.
How much?
A year.
A year.
How much?
$2,035.
Worth another $2,000, we didn't spend $1,000.
Just got a raise this year.
Do I hear any motions?
I'll make a motion to put everybody under it.
Do I hear a second to put everybody under?
I'll second that motion.
okay, Tony.
All right, motion been made, Kevin, second by Tony. Call the roll.
That the whole.
To put the whole county in.
Office holders.
That's right.
Pay their dues.
Either everybody or nobody.
Mark Barker,
No,
you vote,
I vote no.
okay. Russell Reed,
No.
Todd Longworth,
No.
Jimmy Mingles.
Nope.
Jim Bush,
No.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Kenny Higgins,
No.
Tony Neal,
No.
Kevin Mooneyham,
Yes.
Bob Stutz,
Yes.
3-4, 7 against.
Okay.
Am I still, you want me to hand it back to you?
You're done with it, I reckon.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
No, not yet. No.
No, 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 no. No, it's back to me. It's back to me.
Good try, Mark.
He was that close. He was that close.
Dang it.
Bob moving on.
You must be wanting to lobby for something else, so you better just let me keep it.
I have got, no, we went to enlighten you. I have got 3 of the IDB board members here, and it's something that I need to tell you right now, is that when you hear everything that goes on, I'll let Mr. Reed come up there and do it. It'd be better for him or Doug Beaudry, one of them. But we are going to lose one of our people, our businesses that's over there on Bryant Lane, that PC Disposal. And the reason why we're going to lose those people is that the IDB board that's there now demands that they pay their rent because they haven't been paying their rent. And they haven't been paying, are they on the utilities also?
No.
They haven't been paying utilities? Okay.
The utilities are being paid, but not in their name.
Right. They are paying them, the county's not. Okay. And also the other one that we have, now we're supposed to be getting $1,500 a month for this PC
Disposal.
Okay. On up here into the industrial board, which they had a meeting with him yesterday, and they gave him the, oh, by the way, There's never been any lease signed. And one of these companies been here 4 years and one's been 2. It's gonna really create a mind-boggling thing here as far as what the county has lost. If they was to pick up and go away now, we would save money. So, Mr. Reed will tell you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This letter, I put this in just in the form of a letter, actually to Mr. Stetzel and also to you all. The Cannon County, first let me say this about the Cannon County Industrial Board. Our desire is to bring industry into Cannon County to create jobs. That's our mission statement. That's why we're here. That's our sole purpose. Here's where we are. The status of tenants and related information. The Cannon County Industrial Development Board currently owns 3 buildings. PC Disposal located at Bryant Lane. Everybody know where I'm talking about? Used to be an old shirt factory. Crane Interiors at 200 Alexander Drive. Everybody know what I'm talking about? And THC Select at 225 Alexander Drive. Okay. All 3 properties are intended to be income-producing properties. This income is to be used to pay existing mortgage of the THC Select building, which was Cumberland Mole Building, and prepare for future growth of the IDB, enhance the citizens of Cannon County by attracting new industry and growing existing industry. That's our mission statement. We currently have an existing 15-year lease agreement with Crane Interiors, and their rent is established at $7,200 a month. Crane is current in their rent payments and are a model tenant. We do not have a lease agreement with both THC Select and PC Disposal. In addition to no lease agreements, neither company has taken upon themselves to pay the utility deposit for electricity. Therefore, Cannon County is at risk for any unpaid utility bills in the event these tenants decide to vacate the property. This risk could be as much as $25,000. Concerning THC Select, we do have a WBRY bulletin dated 29 July 2010 explaining the gentleman's agreement to start procedures to make the move within a month or 2. To compensate for the moving costs, the county will give THC Select a 1-year free lease with the option to buy the building in 5 years for fair market price. The bulletin goes on to say the lease is expected to be around $5,500 per month. Corbett Gibson, that's one of the principals of this company, said they would bring approximately 4 employees from Waverly and employ around 12 people in Cannon County at the facility. They currently employ, and this is information they gave us, that they currently employ 14 full-time and 7 part-time employees. Our observations when we've gone to this building and talked with these people, we've seen 5 or 6. That's what we've actually seen walking around. In addition to the WBRY newsletter, there's a video of the entire proceedings conducted by the Cannon Wire and is available on the internet. You will notice all proceedings concerning negotiations between THC Select and Cannon County are conducted by the county executive, Mike Gannon. There was no quorum of the IDB. I've contacted Mike Corley, county attorney, and he confirmed the fact that no lease agreement had ever been paid or prepared. THC actually moved into the building during the month of September. That's what our records show, 2010. According to Corbett Gibson, production started in January 2011. Based on the agreement, the year of free rent would have ended in December of 2011, and rent would have been payable effective January 2012. Rent has not been paid for the period of time from January 2012 through September of 2012, a period of 9 months. Therefore, THC Select is currently in arrears $49,500. However, the risk of unpaid electrical concerns the IDB most of all. PC Disposal has been at 475 Bryant Lane for 4 years, coming October 12th, next month. We understand their rent was to be established at $500 for the first 3 months, $1,000 per month for the next 3 months, and $1,500 per month thereafter. This was later modified and agreed upon by Jackie Francis and Mike Gannon to be changed to $500 per month to accommodate PC disposal. This change was never brought before the board for approval. Our treasurer's report dated September 4, 2012 finds PC disposal in arrears of $2,000. 4 months at $500 a month. The current board has contracted with Younger and Associates to conduct a cost-benefit analysis for both PC disposal and THC Select. The results are on record as part of the minutes of September 4th, 2012. The recommendation of Younger and Associates were as follows. PC disposal rent should be a minimum of $1,500 per month, and THC Select rent should be a minimum of $5,500 per month. At the regular meeting of the Cannon County IDB on September 4, 2012, a motion was made and approved by the IDB to submit to both PC disposal and THC Select terms of lease agreements to be effective September 1st, 2012. These terms were presented to PC disposal on September the 6th. They decided to vacate our building on Bryant Lane by month's end. We agreed to their request. They are to pay back rent, clean the building, pay all utilities in full. We are to meet with THC Select on Monday, September 10, 2012 to discuss terms of lease with Corbett Gibson. Monthly rent of $5,500 per month plus $2,000 per month to pay utilities of $17,524 paid by Cannon County IDB in 2010 and 2011. I'll get back to this in just a second. We met with those people yesterday. In summary, concerning the loss of revenue for 2012, this is loss of revenue for IDB. PC disposal was $2,000. THC Select, $49,500 for a total of $51,500. In addition to this loss in revenue, IDB was hit by some heavy expenditures in FY 2011. You all may or may not have this budget report, but this is a budget report that was presented to us in June. Utilities for THC Select, it shows up as a line item. In fact, Mr. Barker covered this, or read this in our first meeting, was $17,524. We're not sure why utility bills were paid by the Industrial Development Board. We don't know. All we do know is that board paid $17,524. Bankruptcy court cost, $13,750. Purchase of a crane in the THC Select building, $18,000, for a total of $49,274. Therefore, our fund balance, the IDB fund balance, has been depleted by $101,274. How'd we get in this shape? Question mark. All of the information in this report has been available to everyone in this room. Audits have been conducted and reviewed. The current IDB has been in place since June of 2012. Our names were presented by the chairman, Bob Stetzel, and approved. It is unfortunate that we have been sidetracked with these distractions and surprises that have caused our energies to be used in non-productive exercises. Our meetings are public, our agenda is published on a timely basis, and our minutes are distributed to Bob Stetzel, Mark Barker, and Mike Gannon. Minutes are on file for anyone to see at any time. This IDB is committed to righting this ship and going forward. Things may get a little ugly before they get better. So all we ask is for your support. Thank you, Chairman. Now let me go back to THC Select. Dean Moore and myself, as requested by the board, met with Corbett Gibson yesterday to discuss the terms of a lease agreement. The terms are that were presented to him that they would immediately put the electric in their name. That would cost them about $28,000 thereabouts in deposit fees. In addition to that, they would start paying us effective September the 1st, $5,500 a month. In addition to that, they would pay us $2,000 per month until the utility bill that has been paid would be paid by them. Or, yeah, paid by them. This afternoon, I got a phone call from Mr. Gibson, plus I got an epistle from, by the way of the internet, a long letter explaining somewhat of a counter proposal. They are to submit to us by Monday of next week. They have 7 days from the time they were presented this. They present to us what they would like to offer as a counter offer. We'll wait and see. It's basically in the phone call this afternoon. I explained to them, we need for you in order for you to be here, you need for us to come to grips and come to the agreement with a lease agreement. Number one. Number two, pay your deposit on your power bill. Number three, start paying us rent, $5,500 a month. We did not ask for back rent. We are more interested in going forward and growing this company if at all possible. So there's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. If you'll stand by somewhere.
Okay.
One of the reasons why they didn't ask for back pay is the fact is that there were no leases, and that's not how to run any kind of business, not county or private. There were no leases, and these people were just being able to go on a gentleman's agreement or a handshake deal, if you want to say. And it's we have lost. We've lost the last 4 years just about of what they've got.
So who made the sweetheart deal?
Mike Gannon. He is not here to defend himself. The only thing that I can say is that they never had a quorum, and when they did business, it was illegal. And Mike's not even supposed to be at the IDB board. He had nothing to do with it, but he was at every meeting. And Mike and I have this, we have this. We try to act like gentlemen when we're around each other, when we're talking to each other on different things like that. But Mike knows that he did not do right by not getting a lease. And we're losing because
it's time for these tenants to whine that we've got jobs, we're furnishing, and it's times are tough. They've been whining about that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
That time is over.
That time is over.
That time is over. We've got them here, and it's time for them to pay their own deposit. I mean, I know people that's got rent houses that are, the electricity's in their own name. They have to go collect not only the rent but the electric bill. Now that's done by people, but the time for that is over. We got to get a lease agreement and then get them to.
Well, let me just bring you up to date as far as.
What did they say, Randall? When you talked to them about this, what did they say? Any one of them, how come they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing?
I don't know that I have an answer per se to that question, just from the standpoint of why would they. It's like if you let somebody move into your home without a lease agreement and without telling them how much the rent is, you're probably going to stay there as long as you can.
Squatters.
Squatters, that's what we have.
And they'll say, well, we're furnishing people jobs,
Yeah.
and that's true.
And that's
the time
true.
for that's over.
Squatters is a really, really good term, and that's what our board has discussed this. I'm not trying to be critical of people that have been in our buildings. They obviously tried to do business. It just hasn't worked. Now, we're waiting on THC Select. We found out today. Let me back up. Information has come to light today because we really pressed THC Select on the $17,524 worth of electricity that has been paid for by Cannon County. By the way, that's illegal. We can't do that. We as an industrial development board or the county cannot pay anybody's utilities. That's against the law. So we have been in violation of state law since FY 2011. Right, Doug?
I'm assuming that's all been reported to the proper people.
Did somebody leave that building and then we had to pay the bill to leave the lights on?
We are searching right now to find out two things. Who was in the building? And when did THC Select actually go into the building? In fact, I have a meeting with John tomorrow, just to try to determine that. There was $10,000 worth of electricity spent from August of 2010 to November of 2010. And that time frame right there was $10,000 spent. It appears that in the month of
It's growing dope.
December, by the way, I just happen to have that with me. Here's what's occurred. You want to jot this down. Between 8/17 and 9/8, the power bill was $3,705. 8/17, 9/9 to 10/6, the power bill was $3,084. 11/6 to 12/3, $2,868. There was no activity in December that we can ascertain. Little bar graph that you get with your power grill shows no activity in that period of time. We don't know who this was. Very honestly, we don't have a clue who this power bill was for. Beginning January 8th through February 4th, there's a power bill for $7,457. We think, we're not sure of this either, we think THC Select started right here. We're not sure, but we'll find out.
How many employees you say they had?
Well, we've observed the times we've been there, 5, 6, 7, Mark, Pody, and Doug, and Bob, and myself were over there back in, what, June, July? And how many people did we see then?
At the most, yeah, at the most 5.
5?
Yeah, because I noticed almost everybody there. The 2
I've been
women
in,
and the rest of them.
Dean Moore and myself have been over and we've counted his, and we've counted 5 or 6. So that's where we are.
And one of the deals to come to Cannon County, even just a handshake deal, was the fact that they were going to hire more people working from Cannon County.
Now, I can understand how things don't turn out like people plan many times, but the time for that whining is over. We've got to, draw a line and say, now, you're going to have to pay your bills.
That's where.
Or we're going to find another tenant.
That's where the board is right now.
That's good. I'm glad y'all.
And if you don't know, that the board is a separate entity away from the county. We do deal with them because they're doing our business as far as that goes. But all the money that they make is off of the rent that comes from building. Any kind of fixing of any problem with these buildings comes out of their budget, which is come in for example, if you get $7,200 a year from Crane, a month, and that comes to $86,000, something like that. And then you got $5,500 all the time. It adds up. Well, in a year's time, $125,000 has been paid out. And all they have to do, they could be bankrupt.
According to what you found, then Crane has been paying their bills well, and then these others are freeloading along.
That's right.
And it makes there's still money left over, but it would be much better if they weren't.
Well, here's where we are.
If we had 3 good tenants, we'd be much better.
Oh, we'd be in great shape. Here's where we are. The Crane building is 25 years old, thereabouts, and it needs roof repair today. The last addition that was added onto that building, for whatever the reason, was not sprinkled. We do not know why sprinkler heads are not in that part of the building. We don't know why a retaining wall was not added to the outside of the building to keep mud and dirt from flowing down in the building. We are going to have to spend a lot of money on that building pretty quick. Otherwise, we'll lose a tenant. We'll lose a good tenant. And we can't afford to do that. They've been not only a good tenant, they're providing for this county right now as we speak about 125 jobs. Good jobs. Good jobs. They need, we met with him, we met today with Chris Anderson, Doug Bowdery, myself, Neil Applebaum. They have right now 30% more orders in hand. What they're searching for are people that they can put on the payroll to produce that 30% more orders. We're talking about $3 million more business that they have in hand. So that tells you a little bit about that company. They are trying to grow. They are searching for ways to grow. And they're doing a really, really good job. They are the Cadillac of the industry in boat interiors. They make interiors for boats that retail for $1 million. So this is not a small company. This is a very high-ranking company in their industry. They're doing a great job.
And they need to be taken care of.
And they need to be taken care of. We need to do whatever it takes to take care of them.
And we'd have the money to take care of them if these other freeloaders hadn't been for a year.
Thanks.
Freeloaders.
How did they not get their electricity turned off when they're not paying the bill?
Somebody had to pay it.
They are
I mean,
paying.
I know that if I don't pay mine, they'll cut mine off.
The county receives the bill, the county sends the bill to THC Select, and they at some point in time pay the bill. Sometimes they're on time, sometimes they're late.
But now the county's paid it.
That's just like what I said. There's people in this county that got rent houses that the bill's in their name, and they have to collect not only the rent but the electric bill.
Yeah, but they're not collecting
But
that much.
that's not a good point. That's not a good practice.
Yeah.
Let them have it in their own money.
What I'd like to try to ascertain here, how in the world we get in the involvement of paying utilities?
I don't know.
Also.
I don't have a clue. They were paid for by, and obviously check signed by county executive. He's the only one authorized to pay a bill.
Where would that come out of, general fund?
No, it comes out of IDB.
Came out of IDB fund.
We went from $254,000 4 years ago down to $16,000 when we came in June.
And I think they got 33,000 in there now, just about. And like I
Because of
said,
grain.
Now listen to this, if we end up having to pay this $17,000, or there was another thing that Randall had made a good point to. If we had to pay both of them, it'd take all the money that they have. They'd be bankrupt.
Yeah.
We need a buffer with y'all as far as expenditures are concerned. If there's, I mean, you said the check was written, but we as a whole, we didn't know that the checks were written.
It's on your budget. It's on that.
Well, what I'm saying, like if you have an expenditure, the IBD board comes to us.
No.
Well,
They're their own
No, they're on their own.
We asked for a cosigner.
Huh?
We asked for a cosigner.
Yeah, they did ask for a co-signer. They wanted, the IDB wanted to be on the board with Mike, and they both signed the checks right there. The one check. That way the IDB board knows that it's going out, and the county executive knows it's going out.
That's the best way to do it.
And see, the thing is,
we got to
that's
have a
it, Jim. We can't find a way to even intercede, and I don't know that we need to.
That's why you gotta have
Because it's their business.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying
Chartered by the
is,
state of Tennessee.
what I'm saying is, I know the position they're in because they just come on board and all this is a mess. But still, we got to have checks and balances.
We are working to that end. If you will bear with us, we will take care of that.
Thank you. And let me ask you another question. When Cumberland Mold was running good, this wasn't as all on, we had another good renter at one time. Cumberland Mold, is that not right? Cumberland Mold, and then
They went bankrupt.
they went bankruptcy. That's where that bankruptcy thing.
Let me tell you, Randall is not like me. Randall, he won't say stuff that hurt people's feelings. You know what I mean? And the guy over there at Cumberland Mold turned out to be just a con man. That's all he was. Because he's got different plants everywhere else, and what he does, he comes down on Cannon and goes bankrupt, but none of his other ones are even touched. I mean, he could draw money from there if he wanted to save this one. But
How did we wind up paying for
a crane?
How did we wind up paying for the bankruptcy?
They paid us
The bankruptcy cost,
Yes.
is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
The $13,250?
Yes.
I have no clue.
How did we even get involved in that?
He paid us $80,000.
From what I understand, I can just share with you from what I understand. And I hesitate to even say that because I can't back this up. But there was, rent money paid to the IDB after the bankruptcy was filed. Now, those of you that know anything at all about bankruptcy law know that you cannot do that.
Sure.
We accepted that money, obviously. As a result of us accepting that money, we in turn had to turn around and pay the bankruptcy court $13,250.
And then we turned around and bought a crane for $18,000 from him.
And then the crane.
From the same guy.
From the bankruptcy.
Right.
With no quorum. So we didn't do it. Somebody did it.
The crane's in floor.
The crane's over there in the floor.
Concrete.
So the crane is
part of our building.
Exactly. The crane is part of the building.
Would it be a good building? Are y'all showing it to other tenants, maybe to get a good tenant?
That's where TAC Select is.
Oh, that's where.
That's where TAC Select currently is. And they are, by the way, they are using the crane.
They're using it.
Well, good.
Somebody needs to.
We actually paid Shaker $18,000 after we had to pay $13,000 of the $80,000.
We paid him $31,000. I gave him $31,000 back.
So the county bought a crane that was attached to its building, and under a rental agreement, when you attach something to a building, it becomes the property.
It becomes the property of the building, absolutely. Thank you, sir.
So we got.
So I want y'all to understand, we every day for the last 3 months has really been a surprise. Literally. Every time we picked up a rock, there's been something under it.
We're picking them up.
Sometimes it's pretty good size. We don't know that we picked up all the rocks.
I keep picking them up.
I bet you will.
Yeah.
Keep picking
And
them
I
up.
wanted to bring this forward because this is a fantastic board right here. It really is. And it will actually make Cannon County grow, I guarantee you. If I'm sitting here, I guarantee you it will. But there's a lot of stuff that they just went through, just exactly what we read and what I've announced. There's always a reason somewhere. And so that's something that we'll have to deal with later on.
Can I make one other comment?
Sure.
If you've read the County Courier, the article in the Courier is exactly like it is. That information is exactly like, in fact, it's almost like reading the minutes of our last meeting.
You can also watch the videos.
Videos on the internet. So there's all kind of information out there. We're just trying to gather it together. I'm to meet with Mr. Barker tomorrow at Middle Tennessee Electric to try to determine where we really are on this electric bill. We don't know yet.
No. Ask this. Y'all said y'all had co-signers. Who were y'all co-signers?
We want to do. We are going to have co-signers. The chairman of our committee will co-sign checks, and what we really are searching to do right now is take that entire fund and put it in possession of the IDB. So we'll be in charge of our own money.
Right.
I think
that's what they're supposed to do.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's what, but they can't write a check without a committee then, without a committee vote approval.
We'll be just like everybody else in Cannon County.
You can't write a check without a form, without it being legal and being right.
Right.
We'll be, whatever we do, we'll be abiding by state law.
When was the last time they had a quorum before y'all got on?
Well, I was on that board, and I say this, and you can throw rocks at me while I'm saying it. I was on that board for about 8 years. I don't recall ever seeing a quorum at one time. I've been told there were 2 quorums. 2 meetings was quorums.
There's a lot of stuff happening without a
A lot
quorum.
of stuff.
Who called the IDB meetings?
Mike Gannon.
Mike Gannon did.
Every letter I ever received that called for a meeting, and they were generally quarterly, came off of county executive letterhead, and it was signed by Mike Gannon. Jackie Francis was the chairman. Of course, Jackie resigned.
I would have to.
I asked, here's where we are. When I found out that Bob Stessel had been elected your chairman of your commission, I called Bob for one reason. And I said, Bob, I'm on this board, the Cannon County Industrial Development Board. You need to do one of 2 things. You either need to get rid of us or fix it. It don't matter, because we are floundering. We've not accomplished anything. Things are not right. Bob said, who do you think ought to be on the board? I gave him a couple of names and a recommendation of another person from another part of the county. Bob said, okay, I have a couple of names. So between the two of us, we put 7 people together. It's probably the strongest board I've ever served on in my life. We have tons of expertise serving on this board. I'm proud to be a part of it. Every meeting we've had, this is 3 meetings now, we've had 100% attendance.
That's good.
So we are going forward. We have people that are looking at, that are calling us, asking what kind of buildings do we have on hand. I'm not saying that they're all prospects, but we have activity that we are pursuing.
That's what I wasn't going to say. I didn't want to spill the beans as far as that goes, but they do. It's phenomenal what's going to happen. We're just
2 other members here, I'm gonna call on them, I'll see if they have anything to add for you.
We've got to clean up house first before we invite company in, and we're doing it as quick as we can. Like he said, everything is legal, above board, and we need to get tenants in there to pay, 1, so we can take care of Crane, and 2, that other building that's no payment right now, we've got $450,000 of debt on the IDB, and most of it's in that building, for that building.
The building that
for
we're not
Bryant
getting
or
paid.
for
The other one, no.
THC?
THC.
Cumberland Mold, THC.
We in default. I mean, we're going to have to get some paint in there.
If we've been paying electrical bills, how's that getting by auditors?
Good question.
It's not we, it's them.
Yeah, you haven't been. The
county-
IDB board
Well,
has
that's what
written
I'm-
checks
Yeah,
out.
we don't.
The IDB board has been paying it.
Right, but how's that getting by auditors?
Audit, what the audit does, the regular audit, if you look at the opinion, it just says, these financial statements are materially correct. You know, they've got in there $17,000 to pay for utilities.
It balances.
It balances and utilities were paid. If they go back and look, they're not, the auditor's doing a financial audit, they're not doing an investigation.
They're not
So we
going
need an
looking.
investigative audit.
Do it.
We need an investigative audit instead of a financial audit.
Let me share this with you, one of the tidbits, a different subject, but last Friday, Donald Preston asked me if I would come down and meet with an auditor here that was in the courthouse downstairs. He was auditing, his name was Glenn Brickford. He was auditing buildings and real estate. That's what I'm trying to say, real estate. And it was interesting, and it's kind of amusing too. He had our 3 properties in his hand when I walked in the basement of the courthouse. Crane, THC Select, and PC Disposal. And he said, Mr. Reed, I don't find a lease agreement for these 3 properties that you own. And I said, well, sir, let me bring you up to date. We do have a lease agreement for Crane Interiors. It's a 15-year lease. It's a very valuable lease. The rent's been paid on a timely basis, and there are 5 more years to go on that lease. On the other 2 properties that you have there in your hand, there is no lease agreement. They are not paying rent, and there's our status. And he looked at me and said, that's unusual. Now, that's where we are.
I might also add too, Donald came to our July meeting, and Donald was trying to determine the taxes for THC Select. And we own a building, obviously they're not paying property taxes, but every company has to pay personal property taxes. Donald sent them a letter asking them to give him an estimate of the amount of personal property taxes they had in their building. They in turn sent Donald a letter back stating that it was their understanding with the county that they, in their deal, did not have to pay personal property taxes for 5 years. Which is illegal. Donald told us that. He said, I can't exempt anybody from personal property taxes. So he never did get a reply after that, and he sent them what's called a forced assessment and assessed their property at $2 million, and they never replied back. So it's not just the rent, it's the taxes. I mean, you're not getting any money out of tax. It roughly equates to, I think, if I figured it right, it's around $13,600. It's what, because I think he assesses it on 30%, if that's right, and I think that would have been $600,000.
That's what he gets us for.
So roughly 13 grand in personal property taxes the county is also not getting. Now, those are not delinquent. I don't want to make that assumption, they're not delinquent until February. But if you're not even getting response back,
They have to be assessed for them to be a delinquent.
that's correct. And they're saying they don't have any personal property.
Only thing they can show that they own is a forklift.
Oh, I thought it was a crane.
The crane, you probably buy.
Well, the crane's ours. We don't want to give the crane away.
And the echo on Randall, it is the best board I've ever been on too. And I've been on, well, it's not here, but several other places, and it's an awesome board. It's very, very good.
Any other questions for me?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
The buildings that we have, we only have 3 buildings.
We own 3 buildings, that's right.
That's all.
2 pieces of land.
That's all we own. We own some land, some property adjacent to the Bryant Lane building. We own some land adjacent to the TAC Select building, up on the side of the hill there, next to the convenience center. Other than that, that's it.
Can you do us a favor as a commission? Can you run off your report and give each of us one?
Do you get a report from them every month?
Yes,
Can you include that in our packets when you send
Right.
them to us?
if it's time available, yeah, sure.
Well, if nothing else, you could back month, do a back, if you,
Okay.
Be a
see what I'm
month
saying?
behind.
If it don't come in time, send it for the
Well,
previous
see,
month.
yeah, for example, this is the August 7th one right there.
That's correct. We
Yeah.
approve our meeting.
They approved their meeting like you did the other day, and then he was able to send that out. This is something that I had always thought about and thought out. We sit there and we say that we passed something, but until the next meeting, when we approve those minutes, it should be when it's passed.
Those minutes were approved on September the 4th.
Can you get all of us a copy and give them to Bob, please? Yes. Of your fine, I don't need that.
Okay. I give them to Bob tomorrow, every month.
Well, I take care of it.
Would it be an impossibility to get where all of us can have knowledge of what's going on?
I'll sign the contract anything I write the warrant, that's what you want to do. I'll send them, you tell me, I'll send them to you.
Let me be sure I understand what you wanted.
Sir?
Let me be sure I understand what you want.
He wants to be kept
We want to be kept informed on your meetings, your findings, as what you brought us today and your findings are. I'd like to have a copy of that, and I'm sure all the other.
More or less like I asked Bob.
Doug, we can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
What y'all take for that crane you got?
The crane is not for sale. Hey, thank y'all for your time.
I make a motion we adjourn.
You get a second? Second. All right, all opposed, stand up, let's go.
All opposed, stand up.
All opposed, stand up. No, I didn't.
Have to go there. The minute book and the page and there's have to go.
No, it's got to be there in the morning.